My name is Dave Banks. I am a photographer, a photojournalist, a writer, a documentary filmmaker, and an all-around nice guy. I live in a very odd world, my world. Denise, my wife, would always say, Dave's world, because I'm always there. And that is that I was doing news and documentaries, and I covered the Middle East, or I covered the war in Afghanistan, but yet I would come back to Los Angeles and I would do a highly entertaining show.
We would run into each other when he would come back from his travels. So he would come back and have a great story about Morocco, or usually someplace of the Middle East, of Israel, which always intrigued me because we both had the love of travel as a common denominator.
The lens is my passport. It's my visa. What I see and what I feel and what I experience in using my passport, my visa, my lens is the most important part. And if I'm able to share with other people what I've taken, whether it's a moving image or a still image, that's just great.
There was a camera that his grandmother gave him, and I think that opened up a whole world, being able to express oneself visually.
It was an 8mm camera that I was started to charge kids 50 cents to be in my movies. And that paid for the film and the processing. And I did that from junior high all the way through high school. We would create these mock wars using explosives, and most of the explosives were homemade, which today you probably could never do this, but back then in the late 60s you could. We were away from civilization, airports, you name it, government buildings, we weren't anywhere near those. All my earliest memories, and I would think this would be true for everybody, and maybe it isn't, I don't know, but are images. That's what sticks with me. When I opened up a book and there's a white page with black ink, that's what I was seeing. I was seeing not individual letters or individual words, I was seeing groups of letters and words all mixed up.
When he was a kid, there wasn't a lot of knowledge about dyslexia. And, you know, he was called some not nice names. There was not a lot of patience from his teachers. And if he wanted to survive, he had to find his own way.
I remember as a kid crushing the cardboard cylinder. And I remember looking through that. And what happened is that it was horizontal and it cut out the other sentences. And I could actually read a sentence. I think those of us who have dyslexia had to really work very hard. I have vowel deafness. I can't hear all the vowels in words.
And he'll get frustrated sometimes. It's like, oh, why couldn't I hear that? I just get frustrated that he's not able to hear it.
And sometimes you'll hear me in my own speech pattern. You'll hear that a word is off just a bit, and that's because it's hard for me to either enunciate or to work that word out. I would say that if it had not been for my learning disability, dyslexia, I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing today.
Some people can make an Achilles heel into a pity story, into not succeeding, and I don't mean financially, I just mean getting along in life. But Dave's the type of person, or maybe he's made himself into the type of person, that's turned the negative into a positive.
This camera probably not only changed my life, but it saved my life. Because I didn't go into any despair or depression. And I found something that I was good at, and something that gave me great gratification. The biggest life lesson I've learned looking through the lens is to listen. I think that if you're going to be a journalist, a writer, a photographer, a cinematographer, a director, a screenwriter, you got to shut up and listen. It's just amazing the stories that are out there. It's just unbelievable. It's all around us.